And welcome. Today with us is MMA fighter Archie Colgan. Archie, thanks a lot for accepting this invitation interview. What can you say in general about your MMA career, your MMA run, your achievements? How did it start? Then we'll go with question by question.
Yeah, so far, it's a pretty short career so far. I think it's about a year and a half. I had my amateur debut last November, then just my pro debut 2 weeks ago. So far it's been a short career, but I really enjoy it and I like it a lot. And yeah, I see this being something for the long term.
I hope so too. How did you start training MMA in the first place, and which was your first martial art?
So my first martial art is wrestling. I've been wrestling since I was 4 years old, and then I wrestled all the way through high school, and then all the way through Division I college. And then I graduated in May of 2018. Moved back home to Denver area, and then really didn't have any intention in fighting. I've always been a fan of it, but ran into an ex-fighter who was my coach, Justin Salas, who fought for the UFC, and I just wanted to learn how to strike just because I know how to wrestle. So I was like, it'd be fun just to learn it, and then kind of just fell in love, and we ran away with it.
So he is your coach right now, right? Or
yes, correct. He's one of my coaches, my main coach, but yeah, he's one of the coaches.
who are your other coaches and sparring partners?
So other coaches are Jake Ramos. He's the head coach of our gym. And then I got another coach, Luke Dio. He's also a coach at the gym, Genesis Training Academy. And then the Jiu Jitsu coach for Genesis is Andre DeViller. And then I also team up with Elevation Fight Team. And the Jiu Jitsu coach that I work with there is Peter Straub. And then sparring partners, I got a whole, list of them of Grant Neal. He's on the bigger side. He's a 205-pounder in Bellator. I got Gerald Scott. He's a 55er in LFA. Every now and then I cross-train with the Elevation guys. So, I get to work with like Gaethje and, some of their like lower guys and some of their bigger guys in UFC stuff too. So, yeah, I get a lot of different looks from a lot of different people.
That's excellent, really excellent. So, how would you, in your own words, describe your fighting style?
Um, yeah, I guess that's kind of hard. I would kind of explain it as aggressive and explosive. I just keep a constant forward pressure on the guys. Nothing too crazy where I'm putting myself in bad position, but I'm coming forward and I'm ready to explode kind of at any time. So I would call it explosive and aggressive. Yeah.
Yeah, very fair. Do you have a nickname?
I don't have one yet. No. I'm actually thinking about just going with my middle name. So my mom, she's from Ghana, in West Africa. So my real middle name is Kwame. So I'm actually just thinking of just going with my real name, Archie Kwame Colgan, because that's pretty unique. Nobody, I won't run into anybody with that name probably. So I think it'd be unique and kind of flows nice, I think. So I don't know yet though. No, don't hold me to it. I don't know.
That's very much of an interesting idea, I got to say. Middle name for a nickname. Never heard of that, honestly.
Yeah, it'd be unique.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite animal?
Favorite animal? Ooh, I feel like a lot of people always go to the lion. Obviously, the lion's a good one to go to, but I would say a Kodiak bear. Yeah, they're awesome animals. They're big.
Well, I've heard some stories when you mentioned Ghana, like the lion, the king of savannah. Does it have something to do with it, or?
Yeah, so the lion and the king of Savannah and all of it, like kind of ruling with Africa and everything. So, yeah, I think that maybe drives me maybe a little bit closer to lion and just kind of how fierce they are. But Just to break the cliche, I went with the bear.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite submission and favorite strike?
Yeah, so let's go with submission first. I would say, I'm still learning the jiu-jitsu side. I got the wrestling side of the grappling down, but I'm trying to learn all this jiu-jitsu, and I think kind of naturally what comes to wrestlers is attacking the head. So I would say my favorite submission is either a one-arm guillotine from top position, or I like to attack like the Dar series too. So um, anything that's really attacking that guy's head, I like those submissions. Favorite strike? Um, no, not really. I guess I don't really have a favorite strike. I guess anything that really involves my right hand, I enjoy that.
Okay, makes sense. So
Yeah,
any strike with your right hand sounds like a favorite one, right?
yeah, I enjoy that.
Single punch or like a combo?
I prefer combo. Yeah, the single punches is I think kind of died out in the old school of fighting. It's kind of overplayed now. You got to set things up a little more clean.
How did you feel heading into your first amateur fight?
That was a crazy feeling. Yeah, I've never been that nervous before in my life. I just remember the amount of like butterflies I had in my stomach was something like I've never had before. It was like when you go to the top of a roller coaster and you're about to come down. It was like that all day long. And I remember thinking probably a couple hours before I walked out for my fight that I was like, I don't know if I can continue to do this. This is how it is every single time. And then after that fight, the fight went well. And then my second and third fight, the nerves weren't nearly as bad. And then I had some nerves again coming into the pro debut. But those nerves weren't nearly as bad as like my amateur debut. These nerves are more of like nerves of excitement and just getting ready to compete. Where my first time ever competing was like, I don't even know what to call those kind of nerves. It was crazy.
So, who was toughest amateur opponent for you and why?
I actually think that my first opponent was my toughest amateur opponent. So I think personally because he was also an ex Division One wrestler. He wrestled. He was a little bit older than me. Maybe he was. I think I was 24 and he was like 30. So he had been out of um, college for some time. But what they said is that he had been training with Dwayne Ludwig out in his gym for a couple years, and he was really tough. Um, and he had, I think, one fight under his belt. So I think that was probably my toughest fight just because of kind of the level in my head that I put experienced wrestlers, as tough people. Um, but yeah, I would say probably him.
About your first professional debut, you fought at LFA. LFA is pretty much powerful promotion. I mean, one of the most powerful promotions in the US. So how did you defeat your opponent? I mean, that's very very. I don't want to sound bad, but for me, LFA for first professional fight is a very big challenge.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I would agree. And I had not been out of the first round in all of my fights, and that fight, my pro debut, I went all three rounds, but it was a pretty dominant win. I got to showcase my wrestling and got the takedowns, and really got to work on the ground and pound. A lot of things that I took away after watching it and saw things that I could work on. But yeah, I ended up with a third round TKO stoppage.
Yeah, excellent. How hard it actually is for a wrestler to learn BJJ? Is there a positive transfer, or there are things that are, how do you say, that are totally different in BJJ?
Yeah, I mean, they're so similar, but they're so different. It's weird to say. I mean, some of the positions that are considered really good for wrestling are considered bad for jiu-jitsu, right? So I don't know, like the whole concept of instead of giving, like for the wrestlers, giving up your back is exposing your back to the mat, but giving up your back in jiu-jitsu is showing your back to your opponent, right, with your chest facing down to the mat. So it's just a different side to it. And then I think that you naturally are a hold of grappling better when you come off of that the wrestling background and jumping into jiu-jitsu. So a lot of things come naturally to you, and you understand like how to grapple and how the human body works on the ground. But at the same time, it's a completely different pace. Wrestling's really high paced. Jiu-jitsu's a little slower. And then, wrestlers kind of put their bodies and their necks into bad positions, to get choked at least. In a wrestling match, it's a good position, but in jiu-jitsu, you're putting your neck out there to get choked or your hand to get, wrenched on. So yeah, it's just a little different.
Yeah, for example, for BJJ fighter, if he's on the back, you would say, "Oh, that's a bad position." For like 90% of BJJ fighters, if he's laying on the back, that's excellent position. For example, I have
Yeah.
some BJJ skills, but for example, I'm terrible on top, but I know very well from back. But really, I don't know from top.
Yes, yeah. See, it's different. So I'm not the most crisp from bottom. I'm still working on that stuff. But if you let me get on top, it's completely different.
Yeah, wrestlers are actually very good of the top position. Majority of them,
Hmm.
I mean. So in wrestling, you were in top position, right? In the BJJ, you work on bottom position.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but again, in the end, it's kind of unique combination of styles, right? So,
Exactly.
how does one day look like in your life?
You said, how does one day look in my life?
Yes.
Like just with the career of fighting and competing?
Yeah, you can call it that way.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just want to, I mean, obviously I want to, get to the highest level that I can. I'm committed to this competing life and fighting life for, some years to come. So I just want to see how far I can get with it. And, I want to push myself and slowly make my way up to the top and, just get well-rounded and, eventually that'll lead to some positive things. So, once we get there, then we'll cross the bridges that are in front of us. But, until then, I just want to continue to get better every day and, just make the most out of this journey that I can.
Do you maybe have some fights slated in the future, or you just plan to keep the ball rolling and to see what happens next?
Yeah. So after my last fight, LFA actually came back, that day and said that, they'd like to have me back in May if I would be, down with that. And I said, of course, because I was healthy body. So, we're looking for May. So I took last week off, and then the week before was my fight. So I took the 1 week off, and then I got right back to training camp this week. So as of now, we're looking about 8 weeks out from another fight. So perfect amount of time for another training camp to make sure that we get out there and we're tip-top form.
Excellent. Would you like to add something to this interview? Would you maybe like to greet someone, to give a shout out to someone?
Yeah, well, shout out you guys for bringing me on. I really appreciate you guys, giving me a little platform to be able to talk. And then, shout out to all the people who support me, sponsors and, my family, my wife, my coaches who continue to push me to get better and, past people who've gotten me to this point, prior coaches and all that. Just shout out to everybody who's in my corner.
No problem, man. Thank you so much for this interview. I will post it tomorrow. Just need to edit, and as soon as I get up tomorrow, gonna post it. We'll send you a link, okay?
Perfect. I'll share it. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you, Archie. Have a great day. Goodbye.
You too.